My great-grandparents and grandparents worked in some connection with the hatting industry. My great-grandfather, who immigrated to this country from Lebanon through Brazil and Cuba, spoke Arabic, English, and Portuguese, and a bit of Spanish. But back in the 1920s and 30s, it was the Portuguese and English and Arabic that helped him, and he became a manager at one of the first shops because there were so many Lebanese and Portuguese that worked there, and he was able to translate and to oversee on behalf of the owners.
Memories that are tied to the library of my immigrant experience. I came to this country when I was 10 years old with my parents. I was born in Brazil, and the library was sort of like the fun thing I got to do after school that my parents were okay with me doing, which was coming over here and hanging out at the children's department. And that's when I met Sue Horton and Mary Ellen, who then asked if I wanted to volunteer, and then I said yes. And I started volunteering by going through the Rosetta Stone program and learning all the levels so that then I can come in after school and help immigrants who were going through the Rosetta Stone program. So,
well, first of all, my father was an avid reader, so every Saturday morning he would take us, myself and my sisters, down to the Danbury Public Library. I do remember going to the old library, which is farther up on Main Street. I was very young, probably 4 years old, 5 years old, so I vaguely remember the murals on the wall. And then when this library was built, we would come here religiously every Saturday, and you would pick 2 or 3 books out and take them home with you. And it was a big deal to be able to come to the library because there were no video games, there was no Netflix, it wasn't even, cable TV was in its infancy, you know, so you had maybe 3 channels to watch, and that was it. So, you know, books were really your outlet and how you discovered a new world or lived in a new world or learned new things, and it was very popular for us to come down here. And this facility, as it is today, you know, was just booming. Today it's, again, evolved into different things. We have the studio, we have children's programs, young adult programs, we have reading programs, language programs, you know, computer programs, take your pick, and there's always something going on here. But back then it was straight books, and you had to check out your book with a librarian that was behind the counter, and they kind of knew you, and if you didn't return it, you would get a nasty letter in the mail to bring your book back. And
so growing up in Danbury was a wonderful way to grow up. You know, we have all of these great city parks, and we have all of these public institutions, but we also have the library at the center, the heart of it all. And so I would walk down here. I have 2 younger brothers, so my parents would walk us down to the library. We grew up on Park Avenue, and it was only a couple blocks walk, and it seemed like a much bigger journey when we were smaller. And once or twice a month, we would check out a series of books. And we started in the junior library, and then we made our way down to the adult library as we grew older. And it was something we did, but it was something we did on purpose. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, time to go to the library again. It was, oh yeah, time to go to the library. I'm so excited, we're going to the library. And we'd get here, and there'd be so many different choices. You know, there's so many different things to read, and then the collection was always changing. So, you know, we could follow a whole author in a whole series, or we could, you know, try something new. And as we grew up with the library. And the library continued to expand to meet our community needs and to meet our needs as a family with tons of different programs. I feel like the library's programs have been expanding and expanding over the last several decades and really turning into what our community needed it to be. Not just a repository of books, but a repository of books and a community center. And that's at the heart of what makes the Danbury Library a wonderful place to be for the last 150 years.